Hey traders, here's my recap for the trades that I took last week. So you can see on 7/2, I put on 2 new trades. Those were the 2 trades that I sent out in my trade alerts. The market was closed on Friday because of the 4th, so I placed these trades on Thursday. You can see the first trade was Chewy. I was only in that for 3 days, and these whole times I'm counting just trading days. These are not calendar days, so I didn't count the holiday or the weekend. So I was out of that trade on Wednesday. So it was a 3-day hold. You can see that I sold the 44.5 strike, and I received a credit of 44 cents, and I closed it for 7 cents. And if you remember when I sent out the trade alerts on Wednesday, I said I had a limit order put in for that. So sometimes I will, if I'm busy during the day and I can't really watch it, I'll go ahead and just put a limit order in for what I think I could get it filled for. And it did eventually fill later in the day. So that gave me a profit of 370. Citi, this was a trade that I had been rolling for a long time, and I was able to close it out last week, but I decided to get back into it again. So I opened up a new trade also last Thursday, and it was a 5-day hold. I pretty much had to hold it all the way until the 7/10 expiration yesterday. I sold the 48.50 strike, got a credit of 49 cents, and was able to close it out for 5 cents. So overall profit of 440. And then during the week, I got into a Tesla trade. So if you guys remember, I sent out an alert where I sold a call, which I don't typically sell a lot of naked calls. If I'm going to play the call side, I like to do it more as a spread. But Tesla had just been running up so much, and the premiums were really high, which means that you can get your strike prices pretty far away and still get a good premium. So I got in on 7/7, and I sold the 18.20 strike. So at the time, the stock was trading around 1400. So my strike price is, over 400 points away. It was at like the 95% probability of out of the money. And I got a really great credit of 6.68. So the margin requirement was pretty high, so I could only afford to sell one contract of that. But the next day, Tesla dropped some, plus you have theta decay. And so the next day I was able to actually close it out for 0.85. So that gave me an overall profit of $583 in just 1 day, which is pretty awesome. So the next trade I got into was Twitter after I closed out my Tesla trade. And so I sold the 33.50 put, and I received a credit of 47 cents. I intended to hold this for a couple days, but after just a few hours, Twitter had a nice pop. And so I decided to go ahead and close it out for 15 cents and capture over 50% of the overall credit. So I made $320 on that, and it was only about a 3-hour hold. And the next one I have is Uber. This is one that I've been rolling for a couple weeks. So you can see last week on 7/2, I had to roll it into this week. And then I was able to close it on 7/8 for a 12-day hold. Again, that's 12 trading days. And when you add up all the credits that I received from the initial credit plus the rolls, and then I closed it out for 0.07. So my total profit on this was $490. So that's all the trades that I was able to close this week for a total profit of $2,203, which is a great week. The only other 2 trades that I had were WDC and GEOS. Those are 2 trades that I'm still rolling. WDC, actually, I did not have to roll this. You can see that my strike price for this week was 42, and the stock was above 42 on Friday. And when I sent the email alert out, I'd mentioned that typically I would have held that closer to the end of the day to see if I could just close it out instead of rolling. But I decided to just go ahead and roll it because I was anticipating that I would probably want to get back into the stock next week anyway. So I was able to roll it, and I rolled it down to the 40.5 strike and still received a credit of $470 for me. So if I'd have closed this out, I would be able to go ahead and realize all of these credits this week. That's a total of about another $1,500 that I could have added to this total if I would have closed it out. But since I rolled it, I'm just going to wait until I finish this roll, until I account for those profits. So next week, hopefully, I'll be able to account for all of this, which is another $1,900 that I'll account for next week. GOS is one that I actually rolled back on 7-1, and I already rolled it to 7-17, so there was nothing I had to do with it. This stock is not really moving that great, so I have a feeling I'm going to be stuck with this one for a while, but I'll keep trying to roll the strike down, and if it means having to roll 2 or 3 weeks at a time, I'll keep doing that. And you know, if I have to pay a debit to roll it further down, that's fine, because when you consider I've collected thus far about $820 in credit, so I'd be willing to give some of that back if it meant being able to get my strike lower. So if we want to take a look at some charts real quick, this just shows the Uber trade that I did, and you can see again how I initially got in at the 32 strike when the stock was above 32, and then we had that dip down, and you can see later in the week it blew through my strike price, so that's when I rolled it down to the 31.50 strike, and you can see the stock stayed below my strike, and then I rolled it down again to the 30.5 strike, and then the stock recovered nicely to where I was able to close it out midweek and be done with the trade. And the last one I wanted to show was the WDC trade. So you can see with WDC, you know, I've been in this one for a while, and this is when I initially got in when the stock was around 48.49, and I sold the 45.5 strike, and you can see where it dropped below my strike. I rolled down. Now, you know, keep in mind, when I roll down, I'm still in the money. I mean, ideally, when you roll down, you want to get the strike below the stock price, but for me to get my strike down here when I rolled, it would have cost me money to do it. I would have to pay a debit. And as you know, I don't have to spend money to roll, so I only roll down as far as I can and still get a credit. And I'm fine with it still being in the money. Now, there is risk of early assignment, and I've done other videos in the past talking about early assignment, and I'll make a new one going into, you know, it's just not really that big of a deal if you do get early assigned, but that is a risk if you are rolling to a strike price that's still in the money, that you could potentially get assigned stock. So anyway, you can see that it did recover above my strike price briefly, but then went back down. So I rolled down again to the 44 strike, and then it blew through that strike, and then I had to roll down again to the 43 strike, and again I'm rolling to a strike price that's still in the money because the stock was trading, you know, below 42. And then I rolled it down to the 42 strike. That was for this past week. And you can see the stock on Friday, here's the candle from Friday, it was above my strike price. So that's what I mentioned earlier. I could have just waited and closed this trade out probably for a few pennies and just be done with the trade, and then I could realize all those profits that I've already shown. But like I said, I just went ahead and rolled it to next week because I was anticipating staying in the trade anyhow. Plus, I wanted to be able to, in my email alert, mention the trade. So if I'd have waited till late in the day, I would have missed out on being able to let you guys know what I was going to do for that. So that was another reason why I went ahead and rolled it early, just so I could get the email alert out. And you can see here's the email alert I sent out on Friday. So this just shows the closed trades that I talked about earlier. And then I did put on 3 new trades. I put on a trade in Micron Technologies, I put on a trade in Twitter, and I put on a trade in Chewy. And there's me talking about the WDC roll that I just showed. So next week should be a really good week, considering that if I realize the WDC profits, which is about $1,900, plus these credits total up about another $1,500 or so. So next week should be a really great week if I'm able to close all of these out for a profit. So that's all I have. I'll keep doing the weekly recaps. It seems like you guys really enjoy getting these based on your comments on my last video. So I'll keep doing these. If you have any questions, let me know. And if you're not on my email alerts, I'll have my email address in the description, mark@premiumtrader.com. Just send me an email and let me know if you want me to add you. Also, I'd appreciate it if you would like the videos, just so it helps get my channel more visibility. I hope you guys have a great weekend.